You gotta love it when CNN isn't self-aware enough to pull their heads out of their own asses and hide their race-baiting bias and their outright stupidity. Now, I'll say right off the bat, I don't care about the Proud Boys or Antifa, but I do care about honest journalism. But last week when the Proud Boys marched in Portland, Oregon to bring awareness to domestic terrorism, what you got from CNN wasn't journalism. It was shameless activism as host Anna Cabrera teamed up with Sarah Seidner, who interviewed one of the chairmen of the far-right white supremacist group, the Proud Boys, Enrique Tarrio. You got that, guys? A Cuban-born American. A person of color is a part of a white supremacist organization, according to the Counterfeit News Network.
Sarah, we know police have already confiscated everything from bear spray to shields to metal and wooden poles. What's happening there now? Looks like things are relatively peaceful behind you.
They are peaceful. I mean, what you have is the police basically separated folks from the Proud Boys and who came for that, and the leftist groups like Antifa. They're on literally the other side of the river.
One of the things I like about this interview is that this guy right here doesn't stop recording the whole time. And my guess is because nobody with two brain cells to rub together trusts CNN.
I have with me one of the chairmen of Proud Boys, Enrique Tarrio, who is here.
I wouldn't even call Sarah Seidner an activist. She's more of a hacktivist because she's attempting to give the appearance of being an honest journalist as she injects her activist narrative. For example, she wastes a bunch of time asking Enrique why the Proud Boys are there 5 different times in 5 different ways.
Why did you come to Portland? Why was this brought forward?
That's one.
And explain to me. I don't understand why you're showing up. Is it to antagonize the mayor or the city?
That's 2.
What is the message that you are trying to send? Because a lot of people see the message as one of intolerance, xenophobia.
That's 3. And number 4 is a really quick one where she asks, what is the message?
When you join our ranks.
And here's number 5 where she asks, why come here?
Coming here. I guess the question is why come here?
What's hilarious about this is Sarah was so dim-witted during this interview that she thought it'd be a good idea to pull out the race card on Enrique.
Because there are people here, people of color in particular who I've talked to that feel like they're being terrorized because of some of the language that is used by groups like yours.
And here comes Enrique off the top rope.
I'm a person of color. Don't! Right, I'm Cuban. Right, my family, 2 of my family members got killed in Castro's regiment. So it's a difference of opinion, whether it's people of color, white people. It's always about race. Our message wasn't about race. Our message has never been about race.
You can't even get more classic than that. This whole interview, Seidner is trying to push her fake news narrative into the minds of the masses that this Proud Boy group is a racist, xenophobic, homophobic, and every other made-up term CNN could think to throw at him. Now, Sarah, who knows the Proud Boys call themselves Western chauvinists, tried to inject into the minds of the masses the idea that the Proud Boys are male chauvinists.
And you call yourself male chauvinist, right?
No,
what does that mean? That's out there on.
No, it's not. No,
yeah,
it's not.
yes,
You're
it is.
falsifying. It's not male chauvinist.
What
and
is
your
it?
viewers can watch that.
Western chauvinist?
Chauvinist.
Okay,
So,
Western chauvinist. What does that mean?
Did you guys get that? She said Western before he did.
Western chauvinist.
Okay,
Western chauvinist. What does that mean?
Which shows that she knew she used the wrong word from the get-go.
Is that what you just said?
No. What does that
Can you
mean?
tell
What
me
is
that it was
what is a
false, what you just
chauvinist?
said?
What do you mean?
A chauvinist is somebody that's patriotic and extremely proud of their country. So you tried to twist my words and say that my group is male chauvinist. There's a big difference.
I'm letting you speak about it.
No,
I'm letting you speak about it. No, I just said Western.
You said, no. You said
I
male
said male
chauvinist.
chauvinist, then corrected myself. Said Western chauvinist. What
You
does that
corrected
mean?
yourself,
A
but you
lot
didn't
of
have
people
the facts.
hear the word chauvinist and they think male chauvinist. They think of people and
Now she tries to condemn him for being part of an all-male group.
what you say on the website and what you have heard from Gavin McInnes, who created this group, is that this is only for people with penises. That is literally what has been said. So isn't that a male
So
chauvinist?
let me ask you something. So women's rights groups that are all women, are they sexist too? No!
There are women's groups who allow, like the women's movement,
So the
they
women's
want males
club,
to come out and be...
I'm sorry, the women's club, are they a sexist group?
What women's club are you talking about? What are you referring to?
The women's club, the National Women's Club, that only accepts women, are they sexist?
Let me ask you something.
It's a men's group, it's a drinking club.
Right, but that's what I'm asking you. You're saying Western chauvinist.
Celebrates women also.
So it's something that celebrates men, but you say Western chauvinist, right?
It celebrates a traditional American family. It celebrates a male. It celebrates a female.
Sarah's not asking questions to get answers here. She's directing questions to establish a narrative. Proud Boys are racist. Proud Boys are extreme far right. Proud Boys are male chauvinists. Sarah is the perfect employee for the Counterfeit News Network.
Let me ask you something about the president. The president tweeted today that he is looking at the possibility of making Antifa a domestic terrorist organization. Yes. Should white supremacist groups also be considered the same?
Yes, they should. They should, and they're right. Anybody that espouses violence or race, they should be labeled a domestic terrorist group, just like Antifa.
And when you come out here, how do you feel about the tweet itself? Is that something that's speaking directly to you? Because what the president didn't mention is that right-wing groups have also been violent.
Yeah, and that's why I said the El Paso shooter. I just said it a little while ago.
No, I'm talking about what you think of the president. He mentioned one group.
The president is right. It's one tweet. He's not going to mention every single group. Right now, the focus is Antifa. We've seen them firebomb. We've seen them attempt a firebombing in Tacoma. We saw the Dayton, Ohio shooter is an Antifa member. So there's both groups. Right now, the focus is Antifa.
Right, but there's also what happened in El Paso, where the person was clearly a white supremacist with xenophobic ideas. What I'm asking you is, when you just pick one group and two groups are both involved in violence.
Focus on one group and focus on another. He went ahead and he called out the El Paso shooter, and he called out white supremacy. Do you not remember that tweet? Don't.
Sure, I remember that tweet,
okay,
but
perfect.
I also...
So we got white supremacy, he called out white, so basically he called out white supremacy, and he called out Antifa. Perfect,
but
both
in
sides.
A time...
And how does Sarah end her kamikaze activism on behalf of our corporate overlords?
That was Enrico Tarrio of the Proud Boys explaining why they keep coming here, and basically at the end he says, look, we're just trying to whittle down and waste the resources of Portland. That will make a lot of the residents here very unhappy to hear that. He says they're going to keep coming, and there is going to always be a reaction from the left. It happens every time. It is a way to engage them. That will not make the city happy.
But wait, there's more. This is how Ana Cabrera tops off this train wreck of an interview with an appeal to the legitimacy of the illegitimate and racist Southern Poverty Law Center.
Anna?
Sarah, a lot to digest there from your interview. I just want to be very clear, though. The Southern Poverty Law Center does classify that group, the leader of whom you were talking to, as a hate group.
Yep.
The Southern Poverty Law Center does classify that group, the leader of whom you were talking to, as a hate group.
As a hate group.
So CNN wants you to be clear about something. If you speak against domestic terrorism, if you march against domestic terrorism, well, you're a hate group. So anytime you think CNN couldn't go any lower, just stick around and hold their beer. They won't disappoint you. If you guys enjoy these videos, be sure to subscribe to the channel, hit the bell notification icon, give it a thumbs up, and share it with everybody you know. Also, check out over 100 hard-hitting designs in the shirt store, and if you want to support more content, hit me up on Patreon or PayPal. All those links will be in the description and in the pinned comment. I'll see you guys in the next heavily censored shadow ban video.